Bang! Neevesknives. I'm Jared, and we got a live tonight, guys. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about and some really cool topics tonight. That's why I'm a little late, because I was trying to set up a tab for YouTube because there was something that kind of related to a subject that I did a video on, and I got some pushback from a few people, but this video kind of explains it, probably better than I do. But right now, what I'm talking about specifically is expansion and contraction. Okay, so I did that video. Hey, baby, can you grab me that jewel that's on the charger, please? So when I did that video, that expansion and contraction, where I got that topic from originally, where I heard it from, besides just knowing it, was Ferrum Forge guys. The Ferrum Forge guys did a video a long time ago on this topic, and the topic was basically, I kind of explained it in the video, that they built a knife, they mailed it to the customer got it, and it was all out of whack, messed up, whatever, sent it back, and then when they got it back, they were like, what are you talking about? It's fine. Mailed it back, and same thing happened, and the person kept complaining. So they figured it out that what was happening was because where they were sending it was like some other place. It was like really cold or something, and it was expanding and contracting. So that was the first place where I really heard that subject. And I got a video ready right now if you guys would like to watch it. It's only a couple minutes long, but it's like this guy, you guys have probably seen him on YouTube. He does science stuff, but he shows a little experiment between metals that are together and what happens when they are together. Hey, my mom's here. My wonderful mother. And I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to watch that here in a couple minutes, but hopefully everybody is well tonight. We're also going to talk about the AD 20.5. I got a bunch of things I want to say about it. Now, obviously, I've only had it for a day or so or whatever. Shout out to TRM. And so it's not like I'm going to review it right now, but there are some things that I'm going to talk about on it that are still subject to change because it's not a review. So I don't want anybody to take what I'm going to say about it too harshly. But I do have some, I don't know about criticisms, but some things to talk about. So we're going to speak about that. Now, I don't know why. Is the chat working? Okay, I think it is. How many people are in here? We got 21 people in here. Oh, Outpost 76 is in the house. I got something to talk about his stuff too. I'm going to do a video about the 20.5 tomorrow. Shout out to Outpost 76. Definitely go check his channel out. You guys hear me talk about him just about every live. I'm hoping to get him in here very soon. Hopefully one of the moderators can plug a link in the description, or sorry, in the comments for us, because we try to do that every time I shout our channel out. Outpost 76 is pulling the guns out. There we go. Thank you, Fiend. Right there is his YouTube channel. Go check him out. One of the best channels on YouTube, in my opinion, knife related. He's got so much information from testing. It's not like he's just saying it because that's how he feels or that's what he thinks. He does controlled testing, and I think that his videos are just, they help the community more than just about any other channel, in my opinion. So thank you to him. No, we appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you. Topic, that's what is it? Topic. Bob B's in the house. What's up, Bobby? Not Bobby, but Bob B. Q1 beat you to it. I was hoping you guys were in here. But there is a little thing, and you guys know when I bring up some of his tests and stuff, I never get too specific because I want you guys to go watch it. But I do bring up little topics that he talks about or some things that, you know, he's gotten from his cut test. But I leave it, I try to leave it a little open for you guys to want to go watch it rather than tell you guys what happened, right? But we'll get to that here in just a little bit. First, let's get into the Demko, and then we'll get into the steel and the materials expansion and contraction video that I have ready right now. I literally have it ready. Check this out. Bang, I got it ready right now. So we'll check that in 1 second. So the first things first, Demko AD 20. So some of my criticisms, and like I said, these are all subject to change. They really are, guys. So I don't want to make it seem like that this is just my final verdict on what I'm thinking or anything like that. But first thing right off the top of my head, this plastic is plastic. It really is. And I knew that. So I'm not saying I didn't know that. Okay. Jared did his homework tonight. You like that? So I like it. Okay. I like the knife. So anything I'm about to say doesn't take away the fact that I'm okay with the knife. I like the knife. There's just some issues. So one, there is a lot of flex in this thing. I mean, and it has nothing to do with the lock or anything like that. Going towards the, and I'll put my hand in the way right now because I don't care, because I know it's strong this way, you know, like opening and closing when the lock's engaged, it's rock solid. Side to side is another thing. And it's because the liners are so thin and they're so milled out, and on top of them is plastic. So you get a lot of flex. And you guys seen in my unboxing, I mean, I can almost smash, and I don't think that's going to crack. I don't think that at all. But it's just the feeling you get, right? Because when I pull this beast out, you're not getting nothing out of this thing. And that's what I love about this knife, is that it's so solid that I couldn't bend, twist, pry, squeeze, nothing out of this thing. This thing is built like a brick shit house. This one, on the other hand, I understand it is a lightweight version. It's completely different. And I appreciate that. Okay. I do appreciate that we're getting a lighter, you know, smaller, compact, more EDCable package. I like that. However, I don't like the plastic. The plastic makes it feel so cheap. The AUS 10, I'm okay with that. I mean, it's a budget steel, and you know, I'm not worried about that as much as the plastic, but that's because I can sharpen. So, and I'll be honest, I obviously haven't tested it yet. I just got it, so I can't speak on how. I've done a lot of testing with AUS 10, so I know AUS 10 pretty good. I haven't tested this one yet, but the plastic, it's so cheap feeling, and it just, somebody made a comment in my unboxing. They said, and I have to agree. They said it feels like a $60 cold steel knife with a $90 lock. Facts, right? That's basically what it is. But I like it, and I do love this locking mechanism. The locking mechanism is awesome. I love that because I love the strength from it. Now, I heard Demko speak about how I think this one can hold like 750 pounds. So I love that. That's awesome. Side to side, I guarantee it won't hold much weight. Side to side, because it's weak. You know, it's such thin stuff. Now, going this way, right? It'll probably hold 750 pounds. Going this way, probably not, which is how people pry and scrape, and you know, a lot of pressure goes on that. Is it the same factory as the cold? I guarantee it is, Daniel. I would bet money on it that it's the same factory. It's just Demko's doing his own stuff without cold steel, so you can guarantee it is. Which, I like that. That's okay. I mean, I'm sure they got a good deal with them. There's an AD 20 compact with premium materials. They had a texture tie one with the shark's foot and magnet. I seen that. I seen that they did some custom versions. which is amazing. I think that's amazing. That's where the hype is from, though, is this beast, right? And I'm just like a lot of people, I want to see it in a smaller, more compact EDCable package. I do, but I still want that level of integrity. Now, what's another thing that they could have done to put that on here? Big fucking hardware. This one has big hardware and a lot of it, right? So that makes it to where, look at these standoffs. I mean, this is the real, the 80-20. The big standoffs. This one has got a plastic backspacer. So I would have appreciated them not worrying about the weight so much, because you can tell with this, they were really trying to make it light, and it's stupid light. I personally don't care about weight. Obviously, you know, you don't want something like, let me just find something. You don't want something this big feeling like it's this big. I understand that, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is adding some big hardware, some big standoffs, and some G10 on this thing would not have affected the weight too much to where people would have been like, oh Lord, the weight. You know, the weight on this thing's pretty hefty on the, you know, the 80-20. This is pretty hefty, but it's not bad. I don't mind carrying it. This thing is very, very lightweight. It feels like a lightweight, like any knife you get that is a lightweight. That's what it feels like. What's up, Benjamin? Benjamin Kim is in the house. What's up? You want mini manliness, not wimpiness. Right, right. I want this to feel like a tough knife. It doesn't. I don't. And let me be clear. I have no doubt that it's not tough. I'm talking about the feeling. The holding it in your hand, pulling it out of your pocket, you know, that when I squeeze it, I'm literally squeezing the plastic scales together. Like when I squeeze it like this, I'm squeezing them together. And it's not because I'm fucking strong. It's because they're fucking weak. And like I said, I don't think the knife is weak. It's just the feeling you get from it. It's kind of like, remember the bug out when it first came out? I love the bug out, but one of the biggest complaints was it feels cheap. It feels like it's plastic, you know, it feels like it's going to break. Was it going to break? No, most likely not. But it still felt that way. You still get that feeling. A lot of people still loved it. And that's kind of like this. I think it's like the same thing. A lot of people are going to love it, even though it's so lightweight. Knife Sergeant, shout out to Knife Sergeant. Definitely check his channel out. Says, does it feel basically like a Delica? My 80-20.5 is still in transit. Yeah. Yeah. Basically it feels, you know what it feels like? I'm sure you've held like some of the FRN cold steel knives. That's what it feels like, but with a better lock. Now, what was the next thing? There was another thing I wanted to not bitch about, but okay, so I feel like there's just some things that they could have added. Hey, Benjamin Kim, thank you, man. Super sticker. Hey, fist to you, bud. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. If I've paid for a big knife, I want to feel like a big knife, or I'm gonna be mad. I always laugh out loud. Sometimes you just need to carry a heavy knife. Yeah, and this is supposed to be a small knife, and I get that. It's not supposed to be a big knife, but it's supposed to be tough. Oh, a Delica is more comfortable. Outpost 76 says. And the pivot, okay? The pivot, if they would have put, like, if you see the pivot, how it's just the screw, I wish they would have put a pivot collar in there, like kind of like this. Look at this. This is the big dog. This is the little baby. Look how the baby's just a screw. This would have added so much more strength to that pivot side to side, because like I said, I can flex it. And I mean, like, literally, like when I go like this, I flex it. So I don't like that. The shark lock. The shark lock's great. Now with this one, it's bigger and wider, so it's a lot more comfortable. This one I could flick all day and it doesn't get irritating. This one is very thin and skinny, and it's fine. It's not a big deal, but it is thin and skinny, so it's something that It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know why my camera keeps going unfocused. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for my illiterate camera. I just have to look at it for a minute. There we go. Where's the beef? Bobby says, fatty slash big enough for you. It's not even that it's not big enough. I love the size. The size is okay. I'm cool with the size. All I'm bitching about, and I like I said, I'm subject to change my opinion. So make sure you guys still watch the review, because all of this could go. I've done this before, guys, where I've sat there and tore something apart, tested it, tried it, and then had a completely different opinion about it during the review. And it was like, I'm wrong, right? I was wrong. So I'm saying it right now. I could be wrong. However, the way I'm feeling right now is these plastic scales feel very cheap. The liners feel very cheap. I wish they would have just used G10. I wish they would have just used I don't know about thicker, but they didn't have to mill out the liner so much, because I honestly didn't even think it had liners. When I first got it and I squeezed it, I was like, oh wow. And then I seen it. If you guys watch my first impressions, like, oh, it does have liners. Because you wouldn't think so. I wish they wouldn't have used a plastic backspacer, and I wish they would have used bigger hardware. If they just did those three things, man, whew. And let me just say this. If they would have used G10 instead of plastic, okay, let's just say just that. Everything else is the same. Bring it up $10, cool. I would have paid it. Let's say if they would have used big hardware, right? And say bring it up another $5 or something, I would have paid that. Do you know what I mean? I know they were trying to bring the cost down so cheap, but there is a point. There's a point of which it's like, okay, and over time they'll be able to do that. So I have no doubt that this is just what they could do for the time, bringing the price down as cheap as possible. And in the future, they will have better versions. This is probably going to be the cheapest version ever. And from now, all the versions after will be better. That's most likely what's going to happen. I'm sure they'll get titanium versions and G10 and hopefully some micarta versions. I'd love to see some micarta versions. Why did Demko approve the design? He must know. Well, I think, like I said, I think he was trying to get it to the market as cheap as possible. I remember hearing him say that. He wanted to get the price down as low as possible. I think they went just a little too low. I think people would have been okay with paying $175, right? And that was the hard part, I think, is that how am I, from his perspective, how can I bring these people a knife like this for $175 with AUS 10? I think that was a hard choice to make for $150. However, I think people want the knife so bad that they're okay with the AUS 10. I don't see why they couldn't do everything I just said for $150. I really don't. I honestly think they could have and should have. Maybe he needed some overhead in order to make to keep another batch going. I don't know. Obviously I don't know the ins and outs of the money deal. Something just happened to my computer. Sorry guys, hang on one second. But yeah, I don't know what about that, but I think they could have done it. Yeah, I want a knife, not a spatula. Which, let's be honest, Demko is an awesome dude. Andrew Demko makes fucking tough knives, and that's what I love. I love that about him. But this does it, you know what it feels like? And this is specifically for this blade shape because it's the shark foot. You know those utility blades you buy at like Home Depot, and they're like backlocks, but they open up and you can replace the utility blades. It feels like one of those to me, kind of. It kind of just feels like one of those utility blades you buy that are folding and you can put in your pocket. That's specifically this blade shape. That's kind of the way I feel about it, but and I'm not trying to rip on him because I think he does some of the best work in this community. Now, well, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Why is the clip secondary to the lanyard? What are we doing? I know they did that on the big one. I know that. Why? Who uses a lanyard on this thing? Have you guys seen one person using a lanyard on an 80-20? Now, maybe on this little guy, maybe, possibly, but more people are going to use the clip than use the lanyard. So if you're going to use a lanyard, why not put the clip first, lanyard second? Just my thoughts. I would have loved to have seen a deep carry clip. And it doesn't have to be deep carry, but just a little deeper, because this does leave, and it's not that bad. They do leave enough for you to just pinch and pull out of your pocket. And he does put a little pad underneath, so it is pretty smooth in and out of the pocket. The back spacer is, cheap plastic, and I don't know. All right, next thing. I don't want to keep going on that. We'll go to the expansion. But before that, I want to talk about something. Jimmy Slash, yeah, he puts them on everything. Okay, some people are gonna, okay? I understand that. I'm not saying people won't, and I'm not dogging on nobody who would put a lanyard on a fucking, whatever, a sword. I don't know, a machete, whatever they want to put lanyards on. I'm not dogging them out. I'm just saying, if you use a clip too, right? The same person that uses the lanyard uses the clip too. So that should be primary. Secondary is the lanyard. And Drew, there's going to be, he even said that. There's going to be upgraded steel. There's going to be all kinds of upgrades. This is going to be the bottom of the barrel first version. The next ones will be upgraded versions. And listen, I still think it's an awesome knife. Anybody who has them coming right now, you have a badass knife coming. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your purchase. I bought it too. I like it. And I got this one. I've been carrying this one all day. So, I like it. I like it a lot. It's just, there's just little things that I just wish would have been different. That's it, Some people are lanyard people, but at the same time, some people are furries. That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Are we talking swords now? Okay, well, check this out. Seems logical. We got these other topics I got to get into, though. So check it out. And listen, guys, I don't want to hear fucking laughing faces and crying faces after I pull this thing out. Keep it to yourself. Okay, so I got this cheap sword. It's like a wall hanger type sword. Had it for a long time. I do have the handle, but I took it off. So I got it in the other room. I didn't bring it. But it's all messed up. It's just a cheap wall hanger sword. All right. I was thinking about putting the work sharp on it, getting the grind. It's got a real Japanese tanto. I know it's rusty. I'll get all the rust off. It's still okay enough to hopefully to get the rust off, but it's got like a real Japanese tanto. I wish it wasn't this kind of tang. I wish it was like a full tang, but this is the way they're done sometimes. So I thought about putting some work on it and kind of messing with it and seeing what I could do with it, tune it up. Bark River machetes are awesome. Do a hand. I thought about that, but I would probably do it on the work sharp. Because, man, that thing would be hell on my stone. Not even just on my stones, hell on my hands. And that'd be, whew, I don't think anybody would want to sit through it. I think people would just fast forward through it, to be honest. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun project because I could sand it down. I could just, do some weird stuff too. Who knows? Something fun. And the handle is wood, so I could wrap it with leather. So I could make it cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's cheap. I know it's shit. But I could make it cool. Okay. So, next thing. Now, this goes back slightly to the Demko, but not really. So, somebody left me a comment, and I'm not dogging out people that leave me shitty comments or anything. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Time-lapse hand sharpening video, that's not a bad idea. I've done enough swords by hand to tell you, don't do it. It's a pain in the ass, and it takes for. I know. I can imagine. I can really imagine how long that would take. Even just like the old Japanese guys that, not old Japanese guys, but a long time ago that would do it on natural stones. I can't imagine how long that would take. That took them. But all jokes aside, the single best way to do a lanyard hole, if you really have to, is like they did with the button lock Elementum and put it on the backspacer. Yeah, I agree. Hide it. Put it, right. Just put it hidden. There's a lot of knives that have it where it's just a hidden thing like this, actually. Right there. Just nice and hidden. So, this is specifically about regrinds. So, I had somebody leave me a comment. And the comment basically was like, knife makers sell knives. And they build the knives to be X strong, right? However strong they are for the geometry of the blade. And basically, you're a dumbass, and speaking about me, you're a dumbass if you change what that builder already did for the knife you bought. So you should just leave it the way it is. They made it how it is, and and you're just messing it up. Basically, that's what he said. Called me a dummy and like I need to be schooled and all this shit. And I said, I don't know what I said, but basically I was like, wow, man, are you serious? You don't realize that these same guys, the guys that are selling you these knives, do the same shit on other knives? Like, do you not think that Demko 8020s don't have a fucking hollow ground 8020? Of course he does. Do you not think the SOCOM elites don't make custom hollow ground SOCOM elites? Of course they do. Like, you're fucking ridiculous if you don't think so. Like, why do you think, like, with Mahinder, he made the slicer grind, right? Because he realized that there's people out there that love the strength and the quality of the knife, but want it to cut better, sharpen easier, and have a longer life. So, with regrinds, obviously it will take some strength away from that knife. The question is the level of strength going to be brought down so far that you're going to break the knife with the things you do? When you buy a knife, you know what you do with your knife. All right. You know what you're going to run into, what you possibly are going to use it against, so on and so forth. So if I'm not prying fucking 2x4s off the wall with this knife. I'm not this, I'm not that. I cut with it all day, right? That's what I do. I use it for cutting all day. But it sucks at cutting. The one thing I want to use it for, it doesn't do well. Then regrinds would be the way to go. Because now you got your fucking favorite knife or whatever knife you like, and now it will cut better and sharpen easier, and over the time of its life, it will only look better. Because, like say, if the knife winds up getting really thick because you've removed a lot of steel and you have to lay back the edge, it's going to be really big. And that's another thing. When you're cutting with something, and I've seen this on some videos, people were talking about a knife not cutting well. A knife that absolutely cuts great, and I know that, and I didn't say nothing, but it made me think about it. Like they said it had bad geometry or something, and I'm thinking, like, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, that's probably one of the best geometry knives out there. And I know what it was he was and I'm not saying he was mistaking it, but in my opinion, he's mistaking edge geometry for the blade geometry, right? There's a difference between how the blade is ground to pass through materials. Now, if you have a knife that's ground to pass through materials very well, but the edge is at whatever angle, a bad angle, a high angle, an angle that's not going to do you any justice for cutting, well, then it's not going to balance good. You're going to want to put a lower angle on that knife so that it passes through materials. And obviously, if it's dull and it's not sharp, then it needs to be sharpened. And just having a sharp knife clearly is going to cut better than a dull knife, but changing the geometry of the angle of your edge, right? I just had somebody send in a Strider, the AR 7.5, and he wanted the edge geometry change. He wanted it big. Or laid back. He wants this thing to cut. So I brought it down to like basically like 15 degrees. So now this thing will cut a lot better. Outpost 76 says, plenty of steels ground too thick from the maker can be taken thinner and still be very strong. Triple B has shown this many times. Such a good point, because with these steels, right? Some of them, especially when you're talking about certain steels that are very tough steels. And even when you're talking about a steel, say that it's not infamous for being tough, it's still very tough. It's steel, right? So maybe that steel might not be tougher than 3V or something, but it's still a very tough steel and can handle better geometry from it so that you will get better cutting performance. You're not going to make it much weaker than anything you're going to be using it for. And I'm not saying you're not hard on your knife. I'm saying being hard on your knife, you're still not going to. So some edges or blades are just, they're ground ridiculously thick. And I know at one time that was a thing. Like, it was kind of badass. You pulled out a knife, it's heavy, it's thick, and it just felt badass. Now, I think, well, from my perspective, when I look at that, I see a knife that's not as useful. But then when I see a knife that has good geometry and I can see it, I get like, my eyes are like attached to it now. Now I feel myself being drawn to it because I can see how useful it is, versus say another knife that is, a paperweight, or, yeah, it's really tough, but it's going to be, there's a point of which it's ridiculous to push something through materials when you're using dense materials, especially with dense materials. Yeah, if it's just if you're cutting tape and some light duty cardboard, it's not that big of a deal. And even if you're doing the lightweight stuff, like if you're doing it all day, would you rather use something that works great or use something that it makes you struggle? Hey there, everybody. Hey, mama. Why don't more people regrind on stones more? I think a lot of mine, or I thin a lot of mine on a coarse stone. I did that one time with a Strider. Well, it was a Protect Strider. And the reason why I did it was because I had put a bad edge on it, or it came. I don't remember if it came with a bad edge one going on it. And I didn't like the way it looked. So what I did was I reground it on a diamond plate. It worked great. It looked great. Then I resharpened it with a better edge. I wound up replacing the blade later on and giving it away to one of you guys, but it worked great. It looked great. It put basically a satin finish on it. It was an aggressive satin finish, but it worked just great. Where are people buying their 20.5s? So I don't know now. I got mine from Blade Show, even though I didn't go. Somebody picked it up for me. But I know Knife Center had them. I think all the places just got them, but I think they sold out really quick. I'm not sure if there's going to be any left, to be honest. Okay, so what was the next thing? Okay, so now let's talk about expansion. Okay, so earlier, if you guys weren't here, we have 81 people in here. So earlier we were talking about, and this is going to have to do with anybody and everybody's knives. And if you guys want to go back to talking about this guy here in just a second, there's a couple more things I could say about it. But remember, everything I said, I'm just judging it right now. I've only used it a little bit. I haven't taken it to work yet. I haven't beat on it. I've used it for a little light duty shit. I'm basically giving my impression after having it for, a day. Let me read this comment and then we are getting to expansion. Okay, new knives. Interested in automatic knives? Can auto knives ever be EDC? Because I hit car key buttons in my pants all the time. won't an all night deploy cut my penis off? No, it will not. So most auto knives are actually set up to where it won't deploy in your pocket. Like say an OTF, the kind that shoot out the front and then you push the button and it shoots back down. Those buttons, if you ever push one, get one in hand, you're going to be struck. You're going to think it's easy. And then you're going to go to push it and you're going to be like, does it work? Because it's so hard. You got to like push it this far and then bam, and then pop it. They're very hard. You'll never put that much tension on that button. Now, a push button one, most of them, not all, but most are countersunk a little bit. So what it does is it makes it, do I have a one here? Regardless, I got one back there, but when you put your finger on it, it usually, you have to intentionally push the button. Like if you lay it on the table and put pressure on it, it won't go off. If you put it in your pocket, put pressure on it, it won't go off. You have to intentionally push that button. So no, autos are pretty good for EDC. The problem I have with them is not all, but most of them don't have great cutting geometry. Some probably do, but a lot of them don't, and they're just not very useful for me. Now, as a self-defense knife or something like that, possibly, but for what I like to use knives for, most autos aren't going to be very good for me. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there that are great, but now let's watch this video. Let me know if the audio is okay, please. Here we go. Oh, let's go. We're gonna go bigger. Fuck me. All right, so go like this and go to.
Showing you one of the
Can you guys hear that?
Metals, pure sodium. The reason that materials get bigger when they get heated up
is
because the atoms that are inside of them are vibrating more. And when they vibrate, they need more space to move around.
Can you guys hear this?
So it essentially makes the material less dense, and so it gets a little bit bigger. Normally, this expansion with metals isn't very noticeable, but you can make it a little more noticeable when you have things that fit together really well. For example, right now, this brass ball and this ring are the same temperature. And so you can see the ball barely fits through the ring. It's a pretty snug fit, but it fits pretty easily. It can just fall through, in fact. So I'm going to put it through like this, but now I'm going to heat the ball up. So now it's been heated up for a little bit, and now it doesn't fit anymore. But I'll just hold it here, and once it cools down, it'll be able to fit through again. So just by heating up the brass ball, it was able to expand a little tiny bit. But the only way we were able to see the expansion is because I had a ring that was able to fit almost perfectly around it. We can see this change in length a little bit better when we put two dissimilar metals together. For example, on the top of here is brass and on the bottom is iron. Now watch what happens when I put it in liquid nitrogen. You can see it's bent completely towards the brass side. But now as I heat it up, you can see that now it's bent towards the iron side. And so when you heat it up, it'll bend towards the one that has the lower expansion coefficient. You can get quite a significant amount of energy out of this as well. So I have a coin here that has two dissimilar metals adhered together. So I'm keeping it warm in my hand, and when it's warm in my hand, it bends one way. But if I set it on the table, it cools down and it pops up. So the metals that I've shown here don't actually have a very large coefficient of expansion when you heat them. What's cool about sodium metal is that it has a huge coefficient of expansion. It's about 10 times higher than iron. And what this means is we should be able to actually see the change in length or volume of a piece of sodium. I have a piece of sodium here, so I'm going to smash it down and roll it down into a long rod. All right, so here's our sodium rod. So first let's measure it. We get 34.5 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to cool it down. Put it in our liquid nitrogen here.
Did I pause it? I'm sorry, guys. I actually paused it for a second.
Now let's pull it out.
No, that was me, Talica. Sorry, guys.
So now we're right around
Technically,
34
I'm supposed
centimeters.
to do
so it's
that,
lost about a
they can
half a
take me down, but
centimeter.
hopefully
So
they
I
don't.
heat it back up now, and it gets back to 34.5 centimeters. Here's a sped up version where I pour on the liquid nitrogen while it's laying on the table, and you can actually see it shrink. So this is so cool. This is the only situation where I've actually been able to see a length change due to thermal contraction. With a normal metal, you can't show this because the thermal contraction is so much lower. For example, we'd have to have a piece of steel that's 10 times longer than this. But when you get the length so long, it's hard to heat it up or cool it without it just reaching room temperature because the surface area is so large. And of course, since this is sodium, there's a good way to get rid of a sodium snake. Just throw it in a bucket of water. Okay, here's our sodium snake.
Whoa.
So the sodium metal actually changed length by around a half a centimeter. So let's see if this actually lines up with what we would expect based on its thermal expansion coefficient. Our entire length of sodium is around 34.5 centimeters, and the linear thermal expansion coefficient of sodium is 70 times 10 to the negative 6 over degrees Celsius. What that means is that we should expect around 70 times 10 to the negative 6 changes in centimeters per centimeter of length per degree Celsius. So going from room temperature to liquid nitrogen temperatures is a change of around 220 degrees Celsius. So to figure out how much change we should expect, we just take the initial length, which is 34.5 centimeters, times our thermal expansion coefficient, which is 70 times 10 to the negative 6 per degree change, and then times 220 degrees Celsius. And surprisingly, what we get is 0.53 centimeters, which is almost exactly what we measured. Now, normally to see a change in length, you need a piece of metal that's really long. For example, bridges need to have flexible connections that can move in and out depending on how hot of day it is. Because it's one big long piece of metal, you need to be able to let that metal expand and contract when it gets cold or hot outside. During extreme heat, thermal expansion can even cause railroads to buckle. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and also hit the bell so you can be notified when I release my latest video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
That's crazy, right? Watching that that railroad track. Hey
everyone, today we're going to be seeing how much weight a spider can hold when it climbs up the wall.
So that's where I was getting.
So first I'll be testing how much weight the spider can hold climbing up a regular
sometimes you might have to
and
adjust
then I'm
the pivot.
How much
Sometimes you're gonna have things because you don't know where, depending on where it came from. Temperatures like my brother-in-law works for FedEx, and he says those like the containers that have the packages, he said it's like unbearably hot. And there's reasons why they don't, like, you have to tell them if you're transferring liquid and stuff like that, it's going to explode or things can happen. So
climb up it with no problem. Because even smooth surfaces on a microscopic scale are still rough. And so those tiny little hairs of the spider can press up against all the little.
All right. But yeah, so I think it's really good to know that sometimes with different materials and different parts. Why am I not completely on the screen? Okay, I am. But I think it's good to know that, like the different types of metals and different, like sometimes we have knives with copper. You guys seen what happened with that copper ball trying to get it through. I think it was copper or brass. But things can happen if you get scales and you're going to put them on, versus, how the action's going to be or something, you might have to adjust or let it break in a little bit more. Like a lot of times when I get scales, I'll have a very smooth knife. Then I'll put them on, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with thermal expansion or anything, but I'll put them on and I have to let them break back in. I just have to. Now, I know Timbo just recently got some PM2 Flightanium scales in my Carta. I think Outpost 76 had the same problem, and they didn't do too good. They literally had to do things to it to make them fit. And sometimes that's the game you play when you buy new scales. I've had like, I don't want to say 50%, but I've had good experiences probably 70% of the time. 30% of the time, you know, you might have some issues. Let's not even start with galvanic corrosion. I would have pre-ordered the Evo, but I have 3 customs currently being made, and I have the most expensive knife I ever bought arriving Monday, hopefully. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I know which knife you're talking about. I think that's so awesome. But yeah, there is a point of which you got to, like right now, there's a few knives I want to get. Oh, Outpost 76, I'm sorry. His fit great. They're super uncomfortable though. Oh, okay, okay. So I know with Timbo's, his didn't fit that great, and he had to do something to adjust it to where the action was good. But you know, like I have some Flightanium scales for my 940 right now, and the pivot is too small for the scales. So the action's great, but when I go like this side to side, like if I try to go like this, I can feel the pivot moving. That's how loose it is inside of it. Like literally feel it moving. So there's no possible way I can tighten it all the way down, as tight as it can go, to where I can't even move the blade. It's so tight, and it's still moving. So there's nothing I can do about that. Oh, Mike's didn't fit that well either. I don't know how their return policy is, but I would imagine Flightanium would exchange them if you really wanted to. Some people don't like going through the hassle of returning and switching and this and that, but now there was something else I wanted to talk about. There's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. So there's a new, and I'm sure you guys seen it. This was specifically on LTK's channel, and I didn't know this, okay? So I was talking all good about this knife that I didn't know about until now, and I'm wondering if he got a bad one or something, or I have no idea. But the new Button Lock Tucson, okay? The new Button Lock Tucson, it has thumb studs, right? It has thumb studs that are not, I repeat, they are not the blade stop. But when it's closed, it locks like the Elementum. So you have to push the button for it to open. Yet it has thumb studs. That doesn't make sense. So I was wondering, does it just have a very strong detent and he thinks it's locked? But I'm guessing LTK tried to get that blade out. I have no idea. So at this point, like I know I talked about it like a couple weeks ago and I said how awesome it looks, you know, because I thought it was just a regular button lock. Why would I ever think that it locks closed when there's a thumb studs on it? You would think it's like a regular button lock, thumb stud action, you know, and you just use the button to close it. No idea. I have no idea. Okay, he said this is the video I'm talking about. Q1 Fiend, just put it up if you guys want to hit it, and then come back and save it for after this is done. Save it and watch it in your recent history. That's what I like to do. When I see things I like to watch or I want to watch, I'll click on it, go finish watching what I want to watch, and then afterwards I got it in my recent history. Really? Because I'm pretty sure OCD for EDC got one from Blade Show, and I'm pretty sure he was. That's what I thought. I thought the same thing. Watch LTK's video. Watch it. It doesn't make sense. I would watch it right now and show you guys, but I don't even have to. I'm positive he never used the thumb studs, and he even said that. And he was trying to figure out what the thumb studs were for. So I don't know. Definitely check it out though. I think it's really weird. Maybe OCD is the person. OCD for EDC is the person we should be talking to ask. Now LTK even took it apart. So I was wondering if he was going to find something on the inside, and he never did, I guess. Okay. This is just me talking shit, but everybody that fucking talks about the ounce per inch bullshit, right? Like, so like a 3.5 inch knife or 3.5 inch blade should be under or at 3.5 ounces or less is bullshit. I don't know who made that shit up and who, invented that system, but that is complete bullshit. Don't go by that. If you're talking about like an FRN knife, maybe, but not if you're talking about a 5-inch blade, right? So the longer the blade, the heavier a knife's going to be. And if you're talking about titanium or brass or whatever, even with light materials, G10 with steel liners, with a 3.5-inch blade, it's very rare it's going to be under 3.5 ounces. And if it is, it's probably weak. Like flexible and, like the bug out and stuff. So don't pay attention to that. I don't know why people got attached to that, because that's a very poor way to look at a quality tool. A quality tool should be built to be as strong as it can be for what it's made to do. And by putting ourselves in these boxes of that, oh, this is what it's supposed to be, and if it's over that, it's considered heavy, right? Instead, it should be considered light, and I know a lot of times it is considered light, but I mean like extra light, because it's not too often you see a titanium knife with a 3.5-inch blade that's 3.5 ounces or less. Most likely it'll be 4.5 to 5 ounces. So I think if you really want to put a number on it, let's say, and was it 1.5 for every inch? That would make more sense. Weight and size don't mean shit. I carried the Slash and used it, and it was fantastic. However, I'm slightly insane. and if you're slightly insane, then yeah, carrying a knife like this, just might be perfect. You might not worry about carrying knives like this. But for regular knives and for regular knife carriers, me personally, I don't worry about weight. I wear jeans. I wear a belt. So even if I wear jogging pants, it still don't matter to me. I just hang it on I literally hang it on I've showed this before. Like right now, I'm wearing jogging pants. I would just literally clip it right here, just like this. Just like that. That's how I would carry it. No problems at all. Like I could carry any weight of a knife like that. Now, if I'm wearing my jeans, I'm wearing a belt. And I don't really feel weight. The only time I feel weight is in my hand. And all I'm saying, guys, is if 1 fucking ounce is hurting your muscles, it's not the knife that's the problem. That's all I'm saying. You need to start eating your Wheaties, guys. Eat your fucking Wheaties. No, I'm just joking. But I don't know where the ounce per inch thing came from, but it's way off. That somebody literally took the lightest knife they could find and then tried to justify it, saying that this is the pinnacle of weight and anything above this is heavy. And that's not the way it should be. All knives are different. Think about this. How can you ask for big hardware, right? Big T8s, deep carry clips, strong pivots and all that stuff, and then say, oh, but it should be under this weight. Well, now you're asking for T5s and you know what I mean? Like you're going to wind up getting shitty material, or weak, I should say. Oh, mom left on foil. Wait. Oh, mom left. Tin foil hat time. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. I just seen something about the horn. Prayers for Jed. Oh, horn break. Hit that gym. Yeah, hit that gym. Hit something. But, I mean, I understand completely if something like this is just too big for you. I get that. I would understand even if you said copper is too heavy. I would get that. There's a lot of knives that are very heavy if you put copper scales on them. I get that. This, to me, feels good. I like the way this feels. The copper Delica, this feels nice. It makes it feel solid and like a tool. But if we're not talking about a big knife, what does it matter what the weight is? You'll never see on my channel me say the weight. I might put the sheet up that says the specs, And if the specs say it, they say it. But to me, man, like I understand if it's a big knife, and that's when I might say it. Like if it's a 13, 14, 15 ounce knife, yeah, I might say it, you know, because I think it's important at that point. But if we're talking about anywhere from 2 to 6.5, 7 ounces, who cares, right? Can you even tell the difference? The most popular knives on the market are also the heaviest knives on the market. Coincidence, right? 15, wait, T5 team can suck it. Right. I hate that small hardware, man. It drives me nuts. I don't know why we're still using T6s. I don't know why. I think every company at this point has heard enough bitching about T6s. Richie B says he 100% agrees on the weight thing. It just, I don't know why it's such a big thing. I personally don't know why people pull out scales. And I'm not shitting on anybody who pulls out a scale. I know a lot of people that do, and they're all my friends. I personally skip that part. I do. I could care less. It don't matter. Like, especially when I'm looking at a knife like this. When I'm looking at a knife like this, it's irrelevant. It's literally irrelevant to me. There's no way this knife is going to weigh too much or too light for me. You know, and a lot of people say, oh, this knife is light, or, oh, this knife feels heavy. Well, I know it can't be too bad. Like, even if it feels heavy for the size, it's not fucking too heavy for me. I was literally looking up this weight ratio crap as he started to talk about it. Love what I'm hearing. Oh, all right, let's go on to another one. So the Outpost 76 thing, I want to talk about that. Hey, there's my mom. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. I love you, Mom. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, wait. Knowing the weight is fine, but it's not really going to influence my purchase. It never will with mine. Like, I get it if it's extremely high. Like, if I seen a knife like this big and it was 16 ounces or something, yeah, I get it. But the only way this thing's going to be 16 ounces is if I see copper on it. And in that case, I'll know it's heavy already. So it's not something that I even ever imagined. Now, if I see something like this, right, I know it's heavy. Look at the damn blade. I know that's heavy. So I don't have to even, and I'll be curious about something like this. I'll be like, okay, what's the weight on that? And I'm not even curious because I'm saying, can I carry it? I'm curious because I want to laugh. That's it. Holy shit, it's 17 ounces. You know, that's the part that I care about, just because I'm interested. It has nothing to do with whether or not I can carry it or use it. What's the deal with copper scales? Seems like a nightmare. No, it's just they patina. You could make them, you can change them colors. So that's one thing. And you can change them up to 3 colors. You can do red, green, or blue. And the green and blue are like bright, like they look like they're glowing. So you can get very interesting colors out of it. The next thing is that it's not magnetic. Third thing is it's basically corrosion resistant. It patinas. So there's a difference between corrosion and patina. So corrosion would be like rust, something that's actually affecting the material. It's like an infection to your material. So if your steel rusts, that's an infection to your steel. Copper, when it patinas, it's not hurting it. It can always be polished back to new, and it's not killing it. Put it this way. They said the Titanic is down at the bottom of the ocean, right? The what's the thing that spins on the Titanic to push it? The propeller. The propeller is made out of brass. They said in 1,000 years, the only thing left down there at the bottom of the ocean will be that propeller. That's it. So that you see what I mean? Like, salt doesn't affect it, water doesn't. It'll make it patina, but patina is just it's a thing on the surface. It's aging. So the one downfall or benefit, depends on how you look at it, is that it's heavy. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. But in like a little knife like this, it just makes it feel tough. Or like the little Civivi McKenna's. Oh my God, it's sitting over there. It just makes them feel tough and solid, makes you feel like you have something in your hand, you know. So you can think of it as a benefit or a negative thing. It just depends on how you look at weight. The next bad thing, it is soft. Copper is soft. Like if you take a copper pipe, you can bend it over your leg, twist it back and forth, and break it right in half. I've done it 1,000 times. So it's very soft. But when you get it thick like this, you know, for a scale, it's not so soft to where you're gonna flex it or anything. So I don't want to make it seem like that. Like I can't flex these scales or nothing. Is there a clear coat on it? So not on this, but you can do that. So what you can do is you can patina your copper and then spray a clear coat over it. Basically kind of like a clear coat you put on a car or something, and then seal it and it won't patina no more. So you can freeze it in time to where that pattern that you have, that's the way it looks. I almost pulled up a video to show you guys how to do it, but I'm just going to do it myself because it's so easy. It's so easy and it's beautiful. It comes out so beautiful. Just wait till you guys see when I do it. It's so cool looking. Maybe here in a second, I'll pull up some pictures. Ryan cut meat with K390. How do I get enough? Yeah, there you go. Cut some meat up. If you want to patina your K390, cut stuff. That's all you got to do. Cut stuff. You can cut some lemons, cut some meat, cut anything really. And when I say that, I'm saying that without wiping it off. Like obviously dry it off or whatever, but don't rinse it off, don't clean it, don't oil it, and just use it. It'll patina really quick too. Like mine, I always dry it off. I'm trying to keep mine clean, which I know it eventually it'll still patina, but I try. Oh, here it is. I don't have any age on mine. Maybe a tiny bit, but I can get it off still. But if I don't dry it off every time I use it, it definitely will. My Hoback Sumo showed up Wednesday, and Hogue should be here Monday. I'm one fucking happy camper. I'm going to start a company called Nuts About Patina. My process... I don't even want to know about the process. My process will be to stuff the knife down my pants and let the magic happen. Well, this one's a titty patina. You know how this one was done. And some titties. Will K390 rust or just it will rust? Yes. The patina is a little. Whoa, Super Steel Steve's in here. Here we go. Patina, black oxide from acid, rust, red oxide from water. Bang. There you go. But yes, K390 will rust. The point is just to not let it get to there. Don't take care of it, you know. And if you do use certain things, it will make it rust. So you just want to be careful with it. Like I said, time will do it. But yeah, there you go. K390, it will rust. Any steel really will rust. There are going to be some out there that are special, that are extremely, extremely hard to rust. But if it has steel in it, it is possible to rust. Some of them are just better than others at being corrosion resistant. How do I block Super Steel Steve? He's unblockable, man. Don't even try that shit. It won't work. My mom's been trying to do it for months. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know why. Damn it. I wish he'd fucking post a video up because I've been waiting for it, man. Jonesing for some Super Steel Steve action. All right, so Outpost 76. Like I said before, I'm not revealing his information that he does on his channel. If you want to get the results, you're going to have to go there and watch it. But he recently did a cut test between I don't want to say old, but Civivi's old D2 versus their new D2. Is there a difference? So what the difference is between some of their older stuff versus their newer stuff. So if you check out his video, you will see what did what. Now, why would that change? That's my question. Why would their old D2 be better or worse than their new D2? I would imagine if in the beginning they're doing smaller batches, maybe possibly be better. Now that they have the Sen cut line, they're pushing out so much that they're not able to do it as good as they did at one time. Now, if it was the opposite way, I would say because they got better at it. But definitely watch that video. And I think a lot of knives or companies have improved a little bit because of tests from Outpost 76, Gerald, or Steve, or Pete from Cedar Canada. I do think some of them have improved a little bit because they know at this point they can't get away with some of the shit they used to be able to, because they used to be able to get away with everything. You just had to take it as they said it. If they said it was X steel, you had to believe it. If they said it was, HRC'd at this, you had to believe it. So at this point, they know they're not getting away with that shit. So I do think they're improving a little bit. Like take the ZT's S35, for example. It used to be super soft. Like I wound up getting an 0450 and it was so bad. So bad. But now it's improved. But they did get a lot of complaints. I've bragged to everybody that I met Super Steel Steve at Blade Show, and they're all like, who the fuck is Super Steel Steve? Jesus. If it was better, they dialed in their heat treat better. That's what you'd think. But then you have to think about D2, right? D2, compared to other steels, is not going to probably do as good in large batches. So in large batches, how would they really improve it? Do you see what I mean? Like, how would it be possible for them to improve a steel that is made to be done in small batches when they're pushing out more now? Think about it. That would be difficult, right? Even if they got the recipe down, they wouldn't be able to give it to you to the price point that they're giving it to you for if they did that. You see what I mean? Because they would have to do more, or they'd have to do more smaller batches, I guess you could say. Let's not go down the D2 rabbit hole again. I'm not gonna, because I'm just telling you guys, go watch that video. Why am I only seeing some comments? I didn't see Shane's comment that Jared showed. Really? Let me see if I see it over here. I'll pay attention from here on, but you can't. I'm like Beetlejuice. That's what Steve said. Some comments do get removed by YouTube, but I don't know why they removed that. They removed like nasty stuff, which I don't think is nasty, but it's not my fault. Okay, we talked about the regrinds, talked about the Demkos. I was going to talk about favorite budget steels, but we'll skip that for right now. Maybe we'll do that in here in a second. Does more money get you a better heat treat? Do you guys think? What the fuck? Stutter and Bob says, I've been carrying the Formax Scout for weeks at over 10 ounces, and he loves it. See? You guys just need to be more like Stutter and Bob over here. Whoa! Lavender Pants is in here. Wow, 76 likes and 0 dislikes. Look at you. I'm a people pleaser. I'm the one-eye, one-horn, flying purple people pleaser. You guys remember that? The one-eye, one-horn, flying purple people eater? Where is the thing I was about to pull up? I never did the old Rocky for you guys. I don't think you guys cared today, but bang. So, I don't know if I should bring that up. I won't bring that one up yet. We got one now. No thumbs down crew here tonight. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so you guys know I have the edge tester or whatever. I'm going to be doing that review soon, just so you guys know. I'm sure you guys are wondering whatever happened to that. Well, I've been testing stuff and kind of figuring it out. I wanted to make sure I had it down pat before I did a full review on it and started using it in my videos. So pretty soon here, it will be used in a lot of videos, including sharpening videos and reviews. So the new Medford, did you guys see that? You blew it. The new Medford, man, it's called the M48. Did you guys see that yet? The M48. Let's see if I can
hey everyone
get to it. So I have one serious issue with it, even though I was super excited to see them make this. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't do that. Fuck. Maybe I should just stop. Okay, so here it is right here. I will show you guys really quick.
Model. It is the M48.
Oh shit! Here, hold on.
This is aluminum. It looks like one-piece aluminum.
The wrong thing. All right, sorry guys. Hang on one second.
Scale. Loop over clip.
And go bam. Now go like
sunk into the scale.
So this is the new M48. Okay, by Medford. It looks badass, and supposedly it flips really good. So it's not like the other flippers that Medford has made. Now I have one little issue with it. Hopefully we see it here in a second.
I think just picked one up. I don't know what the price tag is.
But it looks sleek.
So you need to hear how much?
Right here, watch it.
5. Let's see.
Bang.
Ooh, good
Look at
action.
that. The thing flips
The blade reminds me of that slip joint jack or whatever that he has.
Pause it right there. Okay. Look at that sharpening choil. What the fuck, Greg? What are we doing here? Okay. I just sharpened one of his knives and listen, I somewhat expect grinds to be off a little bit. Okay. Because I know he's hand grinding the certain knives with his hollow grinds. This one was off pretty significantly. Like you could literally turn it and like look at the plunge grind or the front of the knife. Like if I took this out and I went like this to you guys, like looking at it, you could see it was off. I mean, like one side was like this, the other side was like this. So now the plunge grind, he never misses the plunge grind ever. What are we doing? Especially with a knife this expensive. The sharpening choil, all he had to do was push that plunge grind back. The plunge grind literally lands on the edge of that knife. I think the knife is so beautiful. But what are you going to do when you sharpen that thing? Think about this. You want to reprofile that knife. How's that going to look? Lay back the edge. Let's say Outpost 76. He likes to put 15 degrees on some of his knives. 17 degrees on others, but let's say 15 degrees. How is that going to look? You're going to have to cut in a new sharpening choil. I don't understand it. For knives this expensive, let's just do the plunge grind right. And I'm not going to make you guys sit here and keep watching it, but I don't know. It's $500. Yeah, exactly. What the? What's a Thorburn? Oh, you know what a Thorburn is. I got one here. Plus that flipper tab isn't an ideal spot for the pivot, but supposedly it flips really good. It does flip really good. And I don't know. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks great. There are a lot of details about it. I think it's reminiscent of General Damn it, I can't think of his name. I know who it is though. But anyways, it's awesome. But I just wish Medford would do something better about his plunge grinds. Stop ending them right on the edge, making it to where it literally goes down to the edge. General Patton, thank you, man. See, Steve knew what I was talking about. So, the new knife, the M48, even the name of it has a lot to do with General Patton. There's a little dog on the clip that was General Patton's dog. What else is there? There's a couple other details that has to do with General Patton, which I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. I think it's good for us to pay homage to some of the American badasses, or just badasses in general of our history. And wait, hold on a second. It's got stars, his dog, etc. Yeah. And also, I don't know about all of them. Maybe it is all of them. I don't know, but there's like a track of a tank going over the scale. It looks badass. It looks like a dope ass knife. I wish that fucking plunge grind was done better. Third Army, World War II. There you go. The only thing missing on that is Hell on Wheels. Yeah, the M4 tank was named after General Patton. There you go. I'm sure there's a lot more I could learn about it. Because I don't know. It sounds like you guys know more than me, but I did know that little bit that about the dog and stuff. But I just, man, for that much money, I just wish the plunge grinds were done right. And there's a point of which, like, I hate when they do a good choil, but it's a bad sharpening choil. Do you know what I mean? So, like, the choil's good, but the plunge grind sucks. And I could scream about it for days, but we're gonna pass that up. Mike Emler did the video on the riffle. If you guys want to check that out, definitely go and check that out. He only did a first impressions on it. He still has a review coming, but the edge termination pisses me off. Yeah, it sucks, man. Like I said, I had a motherfucking time with this Strider. And I've done a couple of them, and it's not bad. It looks great now, but it's just a point. Like, and I understand when they're hand ground, I forgive a little bit, right? I don't expect them to be perfect from one side to the other. Whatever, it's okay. But the plunge grind, if that at least is done right, then that's one thing knocked out. Now we only have to worry about the angle of the grind at which we're sharpening. But when you have the plunge grind fucked up, now you have that much more to worry about and try to match up when you're sharpening, when you're already trying to match up the angles because they're off. And I mean off. Like like I said, I'm forgiving with hand ground knives. So it's close to their hearts. He was an asshole. What are we talking about? Oh, are we talking about General Patton? Yeah, I heard he was a motherfucker. But you know what though? The motherfuckers are the guys that go down in history. So remember that, you fucking betas. Oh, how I check. Okay, so lock geometry. I want to just talk a little bit about lock geometry. Monster's taking off. See you later, bud. Thank you for coming in. All right, I'm going to skip that because I don't know what they're talking about, but okay. Really bad to have a fucked up plunge. It is bad. And I don't want people to think that hate your knife now, right? That's you can always fix it. There's always ways to fix it. It sucks when it's a coated blade because now you either got to do something about it, but there's always something you can do about it or not even care. It's not that big of a deal. It's more of a big deal of dealing with it when you're sharpening versus how it looks. If it does look like crap after the sharpening, Who cares? It's a tool, right? It's a tool. And I understand when you have $1,000 tool, you don't want something to look messed up on it, but you don't let it eat you alive. It's not that big of a deal, and you can always send it in to get modded and done better. You can. I've done it so many times. I couldn't tell you how many times I've added in a choil, fixed a choil, or done something to it to make it look better. Okay, so I know nothing about lock geometry. You have my attention. Okay, so this is how I check my lock geometry. This is specifically just the first step I do. And I know it's simple and I know it's dumb, and you guys are going to be like, yeah, no shit, right? But what I do is I'll take the knife and I open it as slow as possible. As slow as possible without my fingers on the lock bar. But the point is that I do it very slow, because I'm sure all of you guys have seen a knife when you open it super slow and you get it to lock up and it gets to right there, it doesn't lock. Like, or it does lock, but barely. And if you really messed with it, it would fold, right? So I want to use something with like a liner or something. Can you guys see this? So, like this ZT right here, right? When you open it up, right, and you go really slow, like as slow as possible, on whether or not that lock bar sinks in and sinks in all the way. Now, some knives, and I've seen this a lot, it will go under, but not all the way. It'll just go like this. Like, say, if this is lock face, instead of it going like this, click, it'll go like this, click, and it'll sit there just like that. And if you put any stress on it, it's going to fold. So to me, that right off the bat tells me that either one, it needs to break in, and that's okay. Some knives do need to break in. We've already talked about expansion and stuff like that. Or it's got bad lock geometry. And in that case, now when you check it, make sure you're more careful with you. Test it and check it and make sure. But a lot of knives like that are more likely to, at least from my experience, a lot of times are likely to fold on you. Not all the time, but it's nice when you open up a knife, you go really slow, and when you get to that point, it just snaps in. That's what's kind of cool about the shark lock, because when you go around, it sucks it in. There's no way for that lock not to snap in. And that's kind of the beauty of it, right? So that's one thing. Now, and that's just like a step. Obviously, there's other things you can do, but looking at the lock face itself, making sure when it locks up, it's locked up appropriately. Sometimes if you have a really hard angle and it's on there, when you put force, it'll just push it out. So having a good spot for the lock bar to land while still putting pressure on an angle. And what I mean is, let me see if I can draw this for you fucks. Like that. When it's locked up and you see how it's at an angle on top here, you see how this is at an angle. Sometimes if it's too much at an angle, it can push it out. You want to make sure that it's not perfectly straight either, otherwise it can move over very quickly. But like I said, that first step is one good thing, as long as you know it is locking up solid. Now, there's a couple other things I want to talk about. So, edge geometry. Back to edge geometry. Now, this is more of checking edge geometry, and I know this is very simple for you guys, and I'm kind of going to really simple things. But when you get, because there's different categories of knives, right? You don't expect, and you shouldn't expect, a hard use. What just happened? No. Hey, can you guys hear me? I don't know what. We might have to end this, guys. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? What the fuck? I have no idea what's going on right now, guys. So I'm just going to go like this. Come on. Oh, holy cow. There we go. I don't know how my camera got turned off. Anyways, so you don't expect a hard use knife to have good cut, like really good cutting geometry. It should still cut though. But when you're getting a knife that's supposed to have good cutting geometry, one way you can check it is with an apple. Okay, an apple, a fruit. The reason why is because an apple is very dense. So when you're cutting through it, no matter what, any one of your knives are going to cut the apple. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about whether or not it'll cut the apple. It's how it cuts the apple. So if you take like a kitchen knife, a chef knife, and you go to slice through an apple, and it's a nice thin chef knife, it's going to cleanly cut through it, and the apple won't break. It won't chip. It'll be nice. You can take both the pieces and put it back together, and you can see it's a nice clean cut. Now, if it's not great geometry, what it's going to do is it'll crack it. So you'll cut through it, but the piece will have a crack in it. So that's one way to check it. Someone said Super Steel Steve 3 times. Steve did it. Fucking Steve. Now, when you're checking like a hard use knife, something you already know is not going to pass the apple test, right? It's not going to pass the apple test. So what you can do is you can get some cardboard that's a little denser, double-walled cardboard, and pretty much check it on that. Now, anything really dense, hard use knives are not going to work on. They're just not. I mean, at least they'll cut through it, but it's not going to be great. Now, what you want to do, though, is when you are cutting the dense cardboard with a hard use knife, one of the best things to look for in that moment isn't necessarily just the blade geometry, but also the ergos. Because pushing something like, if it's going to be difficult to push through, well, then you should have good leverage in the handle to push it through. It shouldn't be where you have a skinny little handle that's hurting your hand and the blade is a struggle to go through. Because with that same blade that's difficult, with that skinny little handle to push through cardboard, if you put a big, comfortable handle on that blade, you'll suddenly be able to push through it like nothing. It'll be fine. I've had some knives that have worse geometry for cutting than another knife that has great geometry for cutting, but the difference was the handle. And the knife with the worst geometry cut better than the little knife with the shitty handle. And all it was about was leverage. I had no leverage in my hand to push it through that dense material or cardboard or anything comfortably. So it winds up not being able to put the leverage I need and the muscles I need into the cut appropriately and across the blade evenly. Because say if I have to put all my pressure into just like one corner of the handle, right? So let's take like this. If I could only put pressure right here, right? Because that's just where it goes, then I don't have a good amount of leverage. Now, if you take something else that you can get a big heavy duty grip on, like this, and you can get solid. Now all the pressure is evenly distributed across the handle, right? So now I have my whole hand putting pressure forward rather than just one little piece of my hand like this. So, but yeah, testing those things, really will tell you how good that knife is for you, which obviously, you're going to buy it and you're going to fucking use it for whatever. But I'm just talking shit right now on things I do to test, knives on whether or not it's going to be appropriate for certain duties. So then when I do a review on it, I could say whether or not it's a good tool or not. Some knives, even though they're a tool, they're really not. Let's be honest. They're really not a tool. They're more of, how can I say this? It's kind of like a go-kart. right? A go-kart is a car, but it's not a car. You know what I mean? Or a wall hanging axe. An axe that you hang on the wall that if you used it would break. That's an axe, but is it? You know, so there's a lot of knives out there that they might be really good quality, but they're not a good tool, right? Good quality doesn't mean good tool. I'm usually pretty impressed if it'll cut easily through cardboard while cutting against the the corrosion. Yeah. I have this one cardboard, man, that I can push through knives through it, but I can tell right away if it's got bad geometry because this stuff is dense, thick, and even a knife with good geometry will struggle a little bit. But if I have good ergos, I can get through it just fine. But anything with bad geometry is going to suck going through it. Now, if you add the bad geometry plus bad ergos, you ain't getting through it. You ain't getting through it. And I tried to show that in that one video on the crawler. I cut lightweight cardboard just fine. The lightweight cardboard was like nothing. The knife just blazes right through it. Yeah, when I had really long cuts, it struggled a little bit and it would start, because that's another thing. When you're pushing through cardboard, if you don't see it cleanly cutting and you get to a point to where it's folding the cardboard, your edge could be shit or the geometry is shit because it's not passing through, the cardboard. It's crunching the cardboard through the cuts. But it would do that sometimes, like through the thin stuff. But for the most part, the thin cardboard, it cut right through like nothing. But once I got to that dense stuff, it wasn't doing nothing. It sucked. And more, it was just my hand hurt. It fucking hurt my hand. Now, if it had better ergos, the thick blade would have been fine on it. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I would have been able to push it through. Hey, guys, we got 93 likes. Can we get this video over 100? If you haven't hit the like button, give it a click and see if we win something fun. I bet you guys want to win something fun. I got to sell some stuff. But yeah, let's get over 100 likes. That'd be so awesome. Let's see where we're at. You guys are awesome if you guys can get me over 100 likes. But I don't think you guys can do it. I mean, I got confidence, but no. That's a I got 2 dislikes. You guys are wanting to win something. Not no more. Not no more. Fucking dislike central. Okay. But I'll take a dislike. 103 and 3 dislikes. That's what I'm talking about. Wonder if I do have something I can give away. There's 102. I got my TV. Oh, people are using multiple devices just to hit the likes. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome for the likes. Now, I would give you guys something, but the problem is I got a lot of the stuff that I would have to give away. All right, I'll give you guys something, but whoever wins it is going to have to wait about a few days or a week for me to review it. Where is it? I got it here somewhere. I'll give you guys one of these war spear knives. All right. I'll tell you what. There's 3 war spear knives. Whoever wins can pick which one they want out of 3 of them. 3 war spear knives. So if I give it a bad review after you win it, that's your own fucking fault. I'm just kidding. You can switch it. Whatever. I don't care. Okay, we got a front flipper, micarta, and 14C 28N steel. They're all green. I think there's one other color in micarta. Yep, we got 2 green micartas, 14C 28M. Oh, we still got a story time, man. I was gonna tell you guys about the first time I harassed, or what would it be called? What's that called when you go after a witness? Oh, I can't even think of the name of it. And then we got this tan micarta with 14C28M. Oh man, I can't even think of what it's called. Not harassing a witness, but intimidating a witness. Yes. So I was going to tell you guys a story about the first time I intimidated a witness. I guess it'd be technically the witness, but it was all right. We're gonna get right to story time. Then we'll give one of these things away. Okay, since we got the mark, we got the 3 war spear knives. You guys can pick which one you want. Whoever wins, all you'll have to do is guess a damn number between 1 and 100, or maybe we should do 1 and 200, but not yet. So don't start. All right, let me move these things so I can talk. All right, story time. So I actually have, so the reason why I'm telling this story right now is because over the week I had a friend die. Okay, I lost another friend to drug addiction. I'm sure he OD'd, and technically, as of right now, he would have been my oldest friend. Not oldest meaning age, but oldest meaning he's a person that I've known the longest, right? My other best friend, my brother, you know, he's already passed away. Now, I've known this dude since I was like 8 years old or something. So he'd be my oldest friend at this time. Now, I haven't really hung out with him much. Me and Kara went and hung out with him like last year, but because of reasons. Doesn't mean I don't love the guy. Doesn't mean anything, but he died. He's got like 4 or 5 kids. No, he has 4 kids. And it sucks, man. It sucks. So I was going to tell a story with him in it. So when I was younger, right? Now, yeah, I'll start. So I got a car, my first car. It's, you know, it's all right, guys. It's right. You know, I hate to put it like this, but I've lost so many people that at this point, I'm not going to say I'm cold hearted. But like when I heard about it at work, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't nothing. It was just, you know, and I hate to say it like that, but just in the past 2 years, I've probably lost 12 friends, like good friends, like close friends, not including any family. That's just friends. So, you know, it is what it is, man. Anyways, you know, you live that lifestyle, it's going to happen, right? You know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So, when I was younger, right, I got a car, right? So, didn't have my license yet, though, okay? I was about to get my license. I got a car before I got my license, and my sister had this other car, right? Well, they were very comparable with, and it was a Dodge Intrepid and a Grand Prix GT. Okay. So me and my buddy that just passed away, it's race time. We got a drag race, right? I need to see how it's my first car. Fucking what's the 0 to 60, baby? We got a race. So we got lined up, you know, side by side. Bam, started racing, right? Punched it. I won the race. Well, we get to a corner. Mind you, during this race, we wound up passing a few houses. And none of their fucking business. So when we got to the end of the street, I turned the corner. I'm driving, no license, mind you. I turned the corner. Now, when my buddy, for some reason, I don't know if he thought we were still racing or what, but he went to go around me. And I went to turn into the driveway to turn around and go back. Remember, I don't have a license. I'm just here to drag race, guys. I'm not here to go driving around the town. I need to get back. So after I got done racing, I went to just turn into a driveway to spin around and go back. Well, he went to go around me at the exact same time. So he hit my door. So we kind of went like this. He went to go around me. I went to turn, and we went like that. Just a dent, not that bad. So, it was kind of messed up. Well, then we, this guy right? This guy, none of his business. My sister is with me, mind you, okay? I love my sister to death. My sister jumps in the car, right? She's driving. And the guy chases us. We had another location that we went to. We went to this other location. He kind of chases. Well, my sister knows I don't have a license. So my sister, the G she is, she knew at that moment she had to take that fall, right? Just the way it goes. That's how fucking family does, right? So she knew I didn't have a license. I just got in a fucked up position. It's her duty to take that fall now. So she took the fall for me. So this guy calls the cops, says we're racing or whatever. My sister takes the fall for me. Well, let me just tell you guys about my father, right? With my sister. My job growing up, this is one of my sisters. I have many. My job is to protect my sister by any means necessary. And when I say that, you guys would never understand probably what that means, right? And or quite like what that means. Like my dad embedded it in my head that if one day I have to die for my sister, then I'm gonna do it with a smile on my face, right? Like that's just the job I'm gonna have to do. So growing up, there was many times I got into fights with lots of older people. I did a lot of crazy shit protecting my sister. So now I got a guy who's trying to press charges on my sister. Whatever, right? So first we kind of tried to let the family kind of handle it and kind of talk to him, right? We didn't think he'd show up to court. Fucker showed up to court. Now, let me say, this story I can talk about because it's past, I was like 17, 18, but it's so many years ago that I couldn't be charged for it now or anything like that. Anyway, so this guy showed up to court. He showed up to court. So now my sister took the fall for me. Remember, my sister didn't have nothing to do with this. So you guys already probably know what I got to go do. I got to go intimidate the witness. I'm a kid, guys. I'm a fucking kid. So that's what I thought was my duty at that time, right? My duty is to protect my sister who already protected me by taking the fall. Now I got to go make sure this guy don't show up to court again. All right. It was crazy that he even showed up to court the first time. We didn't think he was gonna. A family member had talked to him and we didn't think he was going to show up, but he did. So, mind you, I'm a kid, right? So this is my first time intimidating a witness, right? And you're probably not going to be very successful your first time, but so I waited till like at night and went to his house with a couple buddies and brought tools, right? You can imagine, and fucked his shit up, right? Well, he knew who did it, right? He knew who it was. It's just you can't prove it, right? So we got away or whatever, and then the cops were called, obviously. Well, the next day I had a family member come and get me and says, "What'd you do last night?" Right? He already knew what I did. Came and got me and said, "What'd you do?" And I said, "I didn't do anything." And he looked at me and he goes, "What'd you do?" You know? And I'm like, "I didn't do anything." And he's like, "Don't fucking lie to me. What'd you do?" And then he's like, "Because we need to get you out of Dodge now. You know, you fucked up." So he's like, "They got your tire tracks, dumbass." So I got my tire tracks and I had to get out of Dodge to change my tires before the cops got to me, basically. So I went and stayed out of town at some place. I'm not going to say where, but left for about, I don't know, 2 months or something, maybe a month. You know, the family basically got me out of town, hid me for a little while, changed my tires so that if when I go back, they did check them, it wouldn't be the same. And the guy wound up not showing up to court again. So in a way it worked, but in a way it didn't, because I was dumb, didn't do it the right way. But, you know, I thought I was doing the right thing for my sister. I thought I was protecting her. And in reality, it just kind of got heat on myself. But back in the day of doing dumb shit because we didn't have to worry about cameras everywhere. Yeah, that's true. He knew my family a little bit. So that's why I never thought he would go to court. But then when he did, I felt my arrogant ass felt insulted that this guy is going to get my sister in trouble when it's my fault. It's my dirt. My sister took the fall for me, so now it's my job to protect her. So yeah, I thought I was doing the right thing. And in reality, I wasn't. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess in reality, I wasn't. But I mean, it semi-worked, you know. But no, I didn't get any charges. They had a small investigation. It wasn't that serious of an investigation. I did have one person later on in time tried to tell on me for, like, because they had heard the story or whatever, and like from Crime Stoppers or something, but nothing wound up ever coming of it. By the time I got back, I think they checked my tires, and I didn't drive the car for a long time. I hit it. I changed the tires, because the point was I couldn't change the tires and come back with brand new tires. So I bought used tires and drove them around for a while. And I had to buy the tires way the fuck out of town, so they didn't call around to the tire joints and find out that I just replaced my tires. I had to do it smart. And I did. So everything wound up going away. But I know that guy remembers. Thank God I learned a lot when I was young, so not to be stupid as an adult. Facts. Dropping some knowledge, Spanky. True. I mean, there's going to be certain things, you do when you're younger. Out of just being stupid, being hot-headed, being arrogant, whatever you want to call it. But it does teach you lessons. Whether you can say it teaches you how to not get caught, it teaches you how to stay out of trouble, or it teaches you just to be smarter, or maybe you've gotten it out of you already, so you know better, and you know how to not, I guess, push your temper over the limit and do stupid shit, and you know where it can take you. Not gonna lie, my sister likely wouldn't take the fall for him. I promise you right now. I don't even want to say it like that, but my sister would do anything for me. Vice versa. I could call my sister right now and say, listen, I got a body and I need to get rid of it. And I promise you, my sister would say, where you at? It's just the way we are, My family's very tight like that. We take care of each other, and we know we're the strongest thing. Without family, you have nothing. And I was always raised like that, especially with her. We always, like I said, I couldn't tell you how many fights I got into, and she's older than me. So the people I was fighting were always older than me, even when I was little. So it was just a thing. And I didn't have a choice, no choice at all. Like there was never, and I'm not saying I would have made a different choice. I'm saying that my dad pushed it on me. I didn't have a choice. Whether I liked it or not, I had to protect her, right? Same thing like with your mother, siblings and stuff. But since I was the boy, she's the girl. It's just, it's my job. The stuff you think about when you're about to fall asleep and your brain goes, remember that dumb thing you did 20 years ago? Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, she would bring a shovel. Absolutely. Yes, she would. That'd probably be your other question. Do I need to bring anything? What tools do I need to bring? And I know that stuff because like I've messed with her just to find out, like you call up and you just say some shit just to see. My sister's a G. She'd always be there for her no matter what. I love her to death. And I got a bunch of sisters, but I'm talking about one in particular. She's like the one that because I have other sisters that I was raised with too, but I have one in particular that I was with my whole life, that we went through everything together. So, right, exactly, Mark. There was one other story I want to tell, and then we'll get out of here because it's 9:22. So this one has to do about pain. Okay, some fucking pain, and when I'm talking about pain, I'm talking about that the pain, the kind of pain that makes you want to just do the bad thing. And so I have to reverse and back up really quick. When I was a kid, I told you guys before, I didn't have insurance, and I grew up, going to the dentist. You were basically just getting a tooth pulled because you didn't go to a dentist for anything else because we didn't have insurance to do it. So we were very poor. So by the time I went to a dentist, it was usually to get some serious work done. So the first time I went to a dentist, like seriously, the dentist had to do surgery on me. He didn't he said at the time that he really had never seen this before, and basically I had baby teeth with roots. So he wound up doing the surgery. It took like 2 hours, fucked me all up, and he admitted afterwards that he should have put me to sleep, but he didn't. Anyways, the reason why I'm saying that is because since then, lots of dentists I've seen after that always say I have gigantic roots in my teeth. My nerves in my teeth are really big too. And the bigger they are, the more painful a tooth thing will be. Well, a couple times I got an infected nerve. If you guys don't know what an infected nerve is like in your fucking face, it's so ungodly painful. Like you guys have seen abscess where people's faces blow up. Like that's an infection, right? And I've had those, but I'm specifically talking about the nerve now. It's so infected. And since the nerve is right here, right? It's so close to your brain. There's nothing separating it. The first time I had one, I didn't know it was a tooth because I felt it right here. And it was so painful. I was walking around with a belt on my head, like just because of the pressure. So bad. Well, when I went to the emergency room, they said it was an infection in my tooth. So you got to get it pulled, whatever, yada, yada. So, or root canal, depending on if they can save it. Well, one time, actually a couple times, I've had some really bad tooth pains. I'm talking about pains make you want to fucking, bad. So this time in particular, I had an infected nerve, and it was so bad. And I couldn't get into the dentist, and it was so bad, and just never stops. Never stops. Like if I hurt my foot, if I smashed my finger would hurt, worse because it's closer to my brain, the signal. With a tooth thing, it never stops. Never fucking stops. So the pain was so bad, I was wrapping things around my head and squeezing it, trying to push the pressure. Nothing would work. So I was going through so much pain. And it also turned into a hot tooth. If you guys don't know what a hot tooth is a tooth that only feels better when it's cold. So you have to take ice water and constantly put it in your mouth and put it on the tooth. So you're constantly putting ice water on that tooth. You'd think ice water would make it hurt, right? Well, it's the exact opposite because it's a hot tooth. And it's extremely painful, a hot tooth. Well, it was a hot tooth for so long, and I'd sit there and I couldn't even sleep. I'm talking about I'd have to literally be pouring water into my mouth, not sleeping for a week. And a week would go by where I'm literally passing out, trying to keep the ice on my tooth. And it's so bad. And I would have to either wait for a date to go get it done, or I wouldn't have the money. So I'd have to go fucking rob people for money to fucking save my own life because of the tooth, right? Sometimes there's programs that you can do to get a tooth pulled or something, but it depends. But anyways, so I was in so much pain, I started running my head into a brick wall, literally to knock myself out. I was literally trying to knock myself out. And he starts with just bam, you're in so much pain, it just doesn't stop. And after a couple weeks of non-stop excruciating pain, you just want to be knocked out. I want to sleep. I can't sleep. I haven't slept in weeks. I started hitting myself with a 2x4 in the head. Fucking running into a brick wall, knocked myself out. Woke up with an even worse headache. Fucked up. And finally got the money up to go to a dentist and get it pulled. And when it comes out, the pain doesn't stop. Like, even when they numb it, they can numb it all they want. It just doesn't stop. And so right when they take it out, you can just feel that relief. Just, and it's like you go to sleep. And that's what happens. Once it comes out, like, you walk out of the place and you just go to sleep because you haven't slept in so long and you're in so much pain. You were in so much pain and now it's gone. So since they take that pain away, your body's finally, you're happy. Like, you're just so happy to fucking be alive and not in pain. But yeah, man, it was so bad. And I've dealt with a lot of pain in my life, you know, physically. And that is possibly that. I mean, when I ruptured my eyeball from getting shot by the cannon, that was really bad too. Spraining my neck was really bad, but a fucking infected tooth. It's similar to my eye thing, because the eye thing, when you rupture your eyeball, it's so close to the brain too, so it doesn't stop. And the pain is so bad, like, your whole head feels like it's going to explode, and you're blind too. So I guess that was probably the worst pain I was ever in. But the tooth thing is definitely a close second. Spraining my neck was really bad, but the tooth thing, man, I also messed up some ligaments in my back one time. That was pretty bad. But all right, guys, I know it's been a long night, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and doing all the likes and everything. So let's get rid of this knife now. So you guys can pick between one of these knives. I don't know where the third one went. Oh, right here. So all you got to do, we're going to say between 1 and, how many people are in here? 90 watching. Between 1 and 200. Okay. And it has to be the first one on my screen. And maybe somebody will help me watch it and stuff. But on my screen, so we'll double check it and triple check it. I'm going to say go in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, let me write it down. I already thought of it, but let me write it down. All right, go. Stop. Let me double check it. We do have a winner. I just need to double check, but I'm pretty positive it's him. Okay, so yeah. Where'd it go? It was Dennis Hurley was the one that won. The number is 45, by the way. 45. Dennis Hurley, I believe you are the winner. And you can get a hold of me after this and pick your knife, or you can pick it right now. Get a hold of me and give me your address. Now, you are going to have to wait for me to finish the review. I'll get it done as soon as possible. Pick the one you want, and I'll do that one first. Richie B chose it too, but Dennis Hurley was the first one. On this other one, they're still all coming in, but Hollywood Tactical did it too. Everybody's doing it now. All right, let me go back just to make sure. Yeah, Dennis Hurley was oh, wait, no. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Kevin Nelson literally said it right before Dennis Hurley. Now I feel bad. Let me just make sure. So hopefully you guys are still in here. Oh, man, now I feel like an asshole. No, it was Kevin Nelson. Where's Kevin Nelson at? Kevin Nelson, come forward. Which one do you want? Do you want to wait till after I do the review so you can pick which one's the best? Why is it not telling me? So it's Kevin Nelson. Dennis Hurley was literally right after. But I apologize for that. Kevin Nelson, where are you at, Kevin Nelson? If you don't claim it right now, Kevin Nelson, then it's going to go to Dennis Hurley. We are all Kevin Nelson. Give him some stickers. I'll give him some stickers. Just get a hold of me after. I'll give him a sticker. Kevin Nelson. Why isn't he saying anything? Is he in here still? He has commented. Oh, wow. It's not showing it on this other one. I'm sorry. I'm watching another thing. Okay, there we go. Now it's saying it. All right, Kevin Nelson. Do you have a choice? Do you know which one you want? If you don't, I mean, it's up to you if you want to wait till after I get done with the reviews so you can pick the best one, or you can pick now. You got between this one. They're all war spears. So I can tell you the numbers. Then there's this one. This is the only one that's a reverse flicker. So you have a flipper, a front flipper, and then a flicker. You can name them that way. You got the flicker, the front flipper, which is pretty big knife. And then you have the flipper. Good action, too. Reverse flicker for the win. All right. Oh, wait. Kevin Nelson said the flipper. Okay, so this one or the front flipper. This one. I'll say this one. Just get a hold of me. Get a hold of me on email. Or if you guys can, when you guys put my email in the description really quick, you can get a hold of me through email or Neevesknives on Instagram, and we'll just give me your address and I'll get it out to you. I'll send you some stickers too. And then if who's the other one that won for a second? Dennis Hurley. If you want some stickers, just get a hold of me and I'll send you some swag at least for shouting you out for a second. I might even give you this sticker, the 45 sticker. But yeah, get a hold of me. Don't forget. There's my email. Thank you, Q and Fiend. Yeah, get a hold of me, and we like I said, we'll set this up. That is my email right there. And then, like I said, Instagram, if you have one, is just fine too. Hit me up in the private messages. And I'll be honest, right now, as we speak, I don't know. This one might be the best one. It's hard to say. I will say this though. This front flipper one does have a light detent. I mean, obviously it still flips, but it's a little bit of a light detent. This front flipper flips really good for a front flipper. I mean, very, very solid. But so is this one. So if you want, I can send you better pictures and everything. Look at that drop. Oh, shit. Too fast. Very good. Very centered. I do have some reviews coming on these things. People have shown me things saying that I don't know if they licensed out the design or what, but I haven't seen it, but other people have told me that they've seen the same exact knife with other names on it. So I'm guessing the designs have been licensed out to other makers or something. Yeah, John Evans, go check out John. If you guys want to do any shout outs or anything right now, do it. John Evans, he just posted his Instagram right here. Hurry up and do it right now before we get out of here. If you guys want any plugs, throw them in. I'll throw them up right now. Definitely go and check them out. And you can always just come back and look at it and see what it's called. That one's pretty easy. Jevons _knife addict _life. Cool name. But I appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I think today was a good live. Can't wait to get Outpost 76 on here. That'd be awesome. I'd love to get him on here. There's a lot of people I want to get on here. After Metal Complex seen that video, he's fucking scared to come on here. But, you know, it's all love. I'm just messing with them. You ain't got to be scared to come on now. I'm just playing with you, bro. I'm just joking. I love the guy. I wish he would come on here. I would love to talk knives with Metal Complex. I'd love to talk knives with everybody. Hell, I'd even like to get Cedric and Ada on here. I'd love to get Steve on here again. Everybody. But, Knife Sergeant, he's got to get on here one of these days. It'd be awesome to do a live with everybody. I like doing the interview lives. Knife power to the people. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Peace. When are you gonna have TPK breast? This is you know, the problem would be is she never shows her face. So it'd be me and then a set of nitties right there. That's all. That's what the live would be. It'd be me, my face next to her nitties. I love you guys. Peace.